Hurricane Hunter planes have been very busy so far this year, even this week, continuing a more than 60-year tradition of studying tropical cyclones up close and personal. The idea of intentionally flying aircraft into hurricanes was first seriously proposed in the 1930s, but it wasn't until July 27, 1943, that Air Force pilot Joe Duckworth with navigator Ralph O'Hare flew a two-seater AT-6 trainer into the eye of a hurricane that had just come ashore near Galveston, Texas, marking the beginning of hurricane hunting. Today, there are two groups of hurricane hunters. One is the Air Force Reserve 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, based in Biloxi, Mississippi, out of Keesler Air Force Base. They investigate storms in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, and using St. Croix as a forwarding station, they'll fly as far out into the Atlantic as 55 degrees longitude, even beyond Bermuda and the Leeward and Windward Islands. They also occasionally fly into hurricanes in the eastern Pacific Ocean. The other hurricane hunters are from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They operate out of Tampa, Florida, using two types of aircraft. The P-3 Orion, which is a heavily instrumented flying laboratory that flies right into the eye, and a high-altitude Gulfstream jet, which flies over and around the storm, measuring the upper-level winds that affect the storm's movement and its strength. Now, to fly directly into a storm, a hurricane hunter plane follows what's called an alpha pattern. The plane first flies diagonally through the eye, about 100 miles on either side. Then it makes a left turn following the counterclockwise winds of the storm. Another left, and the plane cuts through the eye again, completing a path that covers the four quadrants of the storm and resembles the Greek letter alpha. Then the plane repeats the alpha pattern, making two more passes through the eye. All the while, the aircraft collects weather data every 30 seconds and also releases dropsondes, instrument packages that descend to the ocean below, measuring temperature, humidity, pressure, and wind along the way. This Friday is the anniversary of the only Hurricane Hunter plane lost in an Atlantic storm. It was 1955. Category 4 Hurricane Janet was churning westward across the Caribbean. A Navy Hurricane Hunter plane based in Jacksonville and staging out of Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, flew into the hurricane about 200 miles south of Jamaica on September 27th with 11 people on board and was never heard from again. Only 3 other Hurricane Hunter planes have ever been lost in storms, all of those in Pacific typhoons. The last was in 1974. So although flying into tropical cyclones is very turbulent and not for the weak of stomach, it's actually relatively safe. Paul Knight will be back with the extended forecast next.